All right, sorry about the gimmick. I can't help myself. It's the playoffs, and you have to do the Jim Mora bit. It's impossible to do a podcast about the playoffs and not do the Jim Mora bit. So I hope you guys forgive me, and I'm glad to see that someone's still watching, even though I posted the link to this thing probably like 45 minutes ago. Anyways, you got Vikings, you got Broncos, you got Eagles. We're talking playoffs. We're talking draft order, at least the first 18 picks. And I got to say, Bill, I listed 20 to start because I'm programmed to do so.
Yeah.
And I was kind of surprised. I'm like, wait a second, I only have 18 teams here. It took me a minute or two to realize, wait, because there are 14 teams in the playoffs this year.
Right. Right. It takes a minute to get caught up on it. I'm still adjusting to this whole 17 game schedule, like the 9 and 8, 8 and 9 finishes. It doesn't sit well with me, and it's not going to sit well with me in the pros. It's just it's so uncultured, and I hate it.
I was talking to my buddy who's a sports writer. He actually wrote about this exact thing, basically saying the NFL schedule was perfect.
It was
perfect. How could you ruin something that's perfect? RJ, how could they do it?
I don't know. I'm sad that we will never see another 8-8 team.
It's greed.
At least finish the season.
But
Jeff Fisher will live on in infamy now for Mr. 8-8, and nobody can challenge him for that title, unless it's an interim coach who comes in like 2 games of the season, or at some point maybe 4. Who knows?
But we will see 9 and 9.
Can't wait.
No, go back to the even schedule.
Anyways, we'll start out by talking about the playoffs and then shift gears back to the draft order. But talking about the playoffs, it's too bad Matt's not on because I guess he's already started his week off early. I think I saw some photos of him down in Cancun. Maybe it was Cabo. I think there's some ill-begotten photos taken of him and some of his players. So Matt, I'm glad you guys are having a good time, but don't pull an OBJ boat picture here.
Yeah, it's interesting. He literally walked into the first overall seed.
Yeah, well, and again, we're giving him walked into is too little credit because the Bills were right on their heels the entire time. AFC at least had some drama selling it short, a lot of drama for the final playoff spot. But again, yeah, it's the first seed, of course, being Matt with the Chargers, getting the bye. The 2 seed here is the Bills, and he gets the Jets, who is a 7 seed. And like I said, there's some drama here because the Jets won the 7th seed by less than 10 points. So,
God. That's stat corrections waiting to happen right there.
Well, that's happened before. I think it was either last year or the year before. Like old Texans was out of the playoffs, and I think it might have been the Jets and Texans then too. I'll have to go back a couple of years here while we're talking, but it was in the playoffs. It was a stat correction. I think Jets fell out and Texans went in. So if it's the same teams happening again, wow, that's some crazy ass coincidences. So sorry, Santi. Sometimes you just run into a team that has your number. But right now, Santi's in, and he's hoping for no more stat corrections. Let's see here. Then the 3 seed is the Bengals, who get the Ravens from his division. In fact, they, I think, just squared off. Was it last week that they played, I think? Let me look. Yeah, they played last week, and Bengals won by 20. So much like ends up usually happening with the NFC North teams, there's a rematch in the first round of the playoffs. They play in week 17, and they match up in the first week of the playoffs. So Bengals, Ravens there. And then the 4-5 matchup is the Titans and everyone's favorite Cinderella, the New England Patriots, and their midseason rebuild, blow up, rebuild. I think you might have to blow it up right now. Like, can we get training reopened so Pats can blow it up right now? Because I'm pretty sure he's due for it. What do you think, RJ? Good idea, bad idea?
I think it would be a fantastic idea to blow it up right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to wait less than a month to do it. So
that's right. Since I think there were no less than 4 or 5 playoff teams who declared today, they'll be blowing things up in the offseason. So we can't even make it through the playoffs before people get rookie fever.
Countdown to January 4th.
Absolutely. Moving on to the NFC, as mentioned, the Vikings are the first ever undefeated team, I believe, in league history, and the first team to go 17-0. So thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate all of you coming out to my celebration here. I'll try and keep my acceptance speech down to 15 to 20 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody cares about my fantasy team. But anyway, the second seed went to the Falcons, who I'm not sure if he lucked into getting the Packers. I think there may be a couple of other wildcard teams I would rather play than the Packers, but that's who he gets in week one in the wildcard game. The Redskins, I'm sorry, not the Redskins, the Washington football team get the Buccaneers, and the Bears and the Rams square off. So playoff seeds are set. Let's see. What do you think, Bill? What's your favorite matchup of this in the first round?
Honestly, I like in the NFC, I like the Bears-Rams matchup. It seems to be the most even one that's going to come here. And I could genuinely see the Bears being the upset. I mean, if you consider the Bears to be the upset over the Rams. But as far as the AFC goes, I am personally a fan of the Bengals Ravens. I love a good AFC North matchup any day. So I think that's going to be fun. And I'm wondering if Jeremy's going to – not Jeremy, sorry, Chris. Wondering if Chris is going to regret trading away Mike Williams whenever the playoffs really kick in here.
When would you ever regret trading away Mike Williams?
Well, you never know.
I traded for Mike Williams in a league, so I'm not going to jinx anything there. RJ, what are your thoughts?
I wouldn't want to be a team in the NFC in the playoffs this year. There's a bunch of one-loss teams that are terrifying. Were the Packers the last one to get in? Because they're
the seventh. He's a 7 seed. Although the top 7 were basically set before the postseason
for a long time.
Yeah, that whole every single team is pretty absurd, and they all have a legitimate chance. I mean, how legitimate that chance is compared to the Vikings roster, but I'm looking forward to all these matchups. The AFC less so. I'm interested to see if anybody will actually even make Matt concerned throughout the playoffs until we get to the championship.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I know records seem to indicate it was closer than it actually was, but he pretty much walked through the AFC this year.
Well, the challenge is going to be he's definitely probably the favorite, and for good reason, but not getting Henry back until potentially the Super Bowl is going to be a rough one, because right now I think he's not slated to return until the earliest week 17 or week 16 or week 17. So, I mean, if he doesn't get him until week 17, I mean, that's going to suck for whoever plays him in the Super Bowl. But that's going to be a tough road, because he's going to get 2 good teams that he's got to play against and beat. And at that point, nobody in the AFC is really that big of a slouch. I think there was a much larger middle class, so he might get luckier on that side. But there's no easy matchup here.
I am interested to see how the Titans will do. I'm shocked that the Titans won the division, but I'm interested to see if they can go any further than that.
I don't know that they will.
Probably.
There's still bye weeks, and he has a good number of impact players that are not going to be playing in the first round.
I mean, the real fun thing about this is you look at Pats, and he's not going to have Damian Harris. So he's going to be relying on Dontrell Hilliard and Jeremy McNichols to carry that team at running back. And then it's his collection of young receivers and Schultz. So that's it.
But then Michael Pittman for the Titans is on bye. So all Titans has is Julio on IR and Freddie Swain at wide receiver.
Yeah, and McCaffrey out. Again, this is going to be like this is probably going to be the lowest scoring playoff game of league history.
Yeah,
Week 14 is the last set of buys, right?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And of course, Tua and who's my other? I've got a couple of key players on bye this, and Jonathan Taylor are on bye this week. So I'm
the Colts.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
really happy to get this bye.
The 1 seeds would have been destroyed this week, but
Yeah.
they are both on buys, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like-
So looking at
Got so
Chargers
low.
on bye. So he wouldn't have Brissett, but he'd have Herbert. You still have Mitchell at running back, but would have no tight end. Ross Blacklock would be his only D tackle. I mean, that's the most of it. That's a big piece. Probably not as big as others. I would have been sans Tua. It looks like probably having to start Davis Mills because Tyrod Taylor might be dead. Jonathan Taylor, no Devonta Smith, no Adam Shaheen. Again, shut up, Adam Shaheen. I know. Kwity Paye, Ronnie Perkins, who I guess hasn't really played yet. So, but yeah, not having my starting quarterback or my starting running back would not have been a fun thing, especially considering the yeoman's work Taylor's been doing for me so far this season.
How'd you go undefeated with those quarterbacks?
He didn't have them forever.
You're really going to need to address that in the offseason.
I might. Who knows? I mean, Tyrod Taylor's salary is going to come free, and I'm going to be forced with Tua Tagovailoa and Davis Mills to think about what I have to do with the quarterback position going forward. $8 million invested in 2 starters. There are worse situations to be in.
It'll be tough to figure out which one's going to start in Houston next year.
Yeah. So whether they take some yeah, I guess I already have my platoon, right? So nothing to worry about there.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, you're right. I'll probably have to trade it all. Like I said, I'm blowing it up after the season. So
you and everybody else.
Yeah. Hey, whoever is that 23 first, I'm gonna need that back.
Yep. Cash in and then pay for your entry for the foreseeable future.
I've already done that. Like, I think I have my 2023 fifth is my only pick right now or something like that. So it's gonna be fun to get all those picks back.
I will say this, speaking of buys, I'm looking at Washington and they have quite a few guys on buy in the first round. I don't know that it's enough to be really concerned about the Bucks, but it does make it very interesting.
No no, they have a quarterback. It's week 14.
So let's see.
So no Myles Gaskin, no Hunter Henry.
So no running backs. Because Dalvin Cook is probably not going to play next week.
So it'd be Brady, Evans, and Reek, and Mooney. No D tackle.
Right.
No linebacker.
Some productive linebackers.
Right.
No Adrian Phillips. So it's definitely going to be handicapped a little bit. But do we think Bucks has the horsepower to beat him?
They certainly could.
Yeah. Everything has to hit very well.
Yeah. Like his receivers have to blow up. Carr just has to have a game against Kansas City, frankly. Although if he has a game against Kansas City, you know who's probably going to get his fair share of points? Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think the only legit upset I see is Pats over Titans. I think everything else should basically hold serve. Look, Brett's going to hem and haw all week like, I'm really scared about Jeremy. I think that'll be fantastic if Jeremy upset the Falcons and I had to play Jeremy next week.
I think that's the one possible upset.
So go on and check on that because, I guess it's Chubb coming off by. And did you guys see the rumor too? I thought I saw someplace that that Kareem Hunt actually hurt himself in the off week.
I didn't see that, but I know he's listed as questionable.
So you got Chubb.
Let's check it out.
Let's see. No Mac Hollins, which I guess was a big deal. Yeah, shit. The offense could put up in the high 100 to 150s to 180s, And then the defense, he's not missing anybody but Grover Stewart. So, who I guess is his highest scoring D tackle. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It worked for him so far.
It's going to be a fun playoff week.
Yeah. It's going to be fun because I don't have to worry about winning or losing. I keep moving on.
Yeah, this league is always fun because it's the first week of the playoffs here, but it's the last week of the regular season for a lot of other leagues.
Mm-hmm. This is true. All right. So, anything else playoffs you guys want to talk about, or should we shift gears?
Let's shift gears.
All right. So let's talk about everyone's favorite thing this time of year. Over half the league is not playing anymore because they missed the playoffs. So what are they thinking about? Draft order. So your commissions didn't do it, but we did it. We have what we think is the top 18 picks of the draft this year, following the bylaws, hopefully to the T. Obviously, these are unofficial until the commissioners bless them, but I did a straw poll before this, and I think we're 97.5% sure that Jeremy and Chris did it this way so that we would do the work for them, and they would just circle back and be like, oh, no, that's exactly what we had too. Good job, guys, and just use whatever ranks we had here. So I'm sorry if I didn't realize this and rank everybody else who could be higher, but this is what we think actually happened. So sue me. Anyways, in the shock of all shocks, congratulations, RJ. You were on.
Well done. I love that your final week as a capper was less than 6 points.
Yeah, I didn't expect that one. Hey, I'll take it. Didn't want. I wasn't trying to get the record that low, but I'll take it.
It will literally never be broke.
Nope.
Considering how many leagues I needed Dawson Knox to do fucking anything in, I'm very upset at this record.
Oh yeah,
Especially with two big drops of 20-yard catches. It's like, you bastard. Like I've had a couple of what's his name? Oh God, Nick Kroll's character in the league. I can't believe I'm blanking on this.
Oh God.
Ruxin. I have had quite a few Ruxin moments this year, and this was definitely one of them where it was like, I'm really pissed off about this tight end situation. If I saw Dawson Knox at a spot right now, I might yell at him and be like, what the fuck was that? Why couldn't you catch the fucking ball, you fucking bum?
Right.
And I would have got my ass kicked by Dawson Knox, which would have been a fun story too.
So I have him in most of my leagues, and there was another one where I was fighting for a playoff spot that I did not successfully get. And once I came to the realization that Dawson Knox was not going to provide me the adequate points for that playoff spot, I also realized how low my points were in this league. So I started to cheer him on to do terrible. So when he missed that pass in the end zone, or had it knocked away from him by Adrian Phillips, I cheered. Not as a Patriots fan, but as the Eagles owner that demolished the lowest points scored.
I mean, honestly, who's more likely to get knocked out in the first round, the Bills or the Ravens? For real, this week was nuts.
It
was bad.
It's insanity. Oh my God.
Love the NFL.
I love Mac Jones's stat line.
2 for 3 for what? 14 yards.
13 yards.
I'm now a believer.
Yeah, so the CEO of the company I'm working for is a huge Bills fan, and then I'm in Pat's territory, so it's fantastic. I can only imagine what he was doing today, just probably ripping everybody apart. Like, if anyone says any shit to me about the freaking game last night, you're all fired.
Yeah,
they're going to trade for James Robinson in the offseason.
Who?
The Bills. They have no running game. They're going to trade for James Robinson.
I feel bad for Singletary and Moss. They were pretty talented players at
They're
one point.
yeah, they're talented, but they don't fit whatever they're trying to do in that run game. They don't fit.
Yeah.
It just
They're
doesn't
not whatever they're doing, they're not doing it right.
right.
If Matt Breida fits, you're not doing something right.
Exactly, and it looks like Urban has finally given up on J-Rob for whatever reason. I don't understand. But, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them give up a 2 for J-Rob next year.
Yeah, I mean, there's, again, NFL trades are going to be fun this offseason too because
Mhm.
so many people can move, and there's been enough upside that's happened so far this offseason that the rest of the season that's like, is Minshew going to play himself into a quarterback competition someplace?
No, not in Philly.
I mean, who knows? Again, you guys joke that Tua is going to be in Houston. That means that Deshaun's not going to be in Philly. Is it going to be Seattle? And Russ is cooking in Philly instead of cooking in Seattle. So again, there's just so much opportunity. And again, maybe it's like this every year, but I feel like this year more than most, it's going to be a fun offseason.
The names are big. It's going to be great.
Yep. Anyways, moving down the draft order because everybody knew who the first pick was going to be. Second pick was a bit of a surprise. So there were 4 teams who tied at 2 and 5. They did not all have common opponents. So we went on to the next, which was points scored. And the team with the lowest points scored at 2 and 15, congratulations, the Detroit Lions.
Hooray. He finally can get his quarterback.
Yeah, I thought Trevor was the answer.
Lions didn't get Trevor.
No, it was the Cowboys. That's right. Never mind. It's my fault.
Lions is the one that let Winston walk.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Oh, my. All right.
And then third pick, again, losing this by, I think, a couple hundred points. And because he wanted to make sure he didn't sell off for nothing in picks at the deadline, he wanted to make sure he got his quarterback. The third pick, which I think is actually in Bill's hands, is the Jags.
That's right. That's right. Kenny Pickett coming to Denver.
Yep. And then fourth pick is the Cowboys, and fifth pick, falling far because of a couple, I guess, ill-timed wins, are the Steelers.
He had it locked up. And then he just couldn't help but win games at the end.
He's still in a really good spot. He already found his quarterback, so I mean, you probably want to be like 3-4 to get your choice of like the best running back or best receiver, but to get the leftover, I mean, ideally there's still somebody that's going to be available at 5, right?
Thibodeau's not a bad fifth pick.
That's he's not going to be there at 5.
Probably not. No.
Come on, guys, don't give up too much content. We have a long off season here. I mean, we have to talk about the draft for at least 4.5 months still.
Oh, we will.
I think RJ just gave us the 101 right there, though.
No, I don't know who's gonna who. I don't even know who's gonna have the 101. Probably won't be me.
That's possible too. All right, and then moving down to the next couple picks, we had 2, 3, and 14 teams. They split against each other, and by nature of having the lower record, the Seahawks are in position with the 6th pick and the Cardinals with the 7th pick. So Seahawks, once again, probably at that end of whatever the top tier of quarterbacks is going to be, and Cardinals will be just too late to get one who will probably take another all-star receiver.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Continuing to move down, we have 1, 4, and 13 team, the Panthers. Then we move up to the Colts at 5 and 12. 2, 6, and 11 teams, the 49ers and Saints, who did not look like they played each other. So 49ers get the higher pick based off of the lower points for. And we have our first head-to-head determined draft order. So the Browns and Chiefs played each other, both finished 7 and 10. And the Chiefs beat the Browns, so the Browns will take the 12th pick and the Chiefs the 13th. Going down to the 8 and 9 teams, we've got Giants and the Dolphins, and the Giants locking up that 14th pick by not playing the Dolphins and by a minuscule 632 points. So just barely squeaking that one out and hang on to that one. So good on you, Giants. Finally, wrapping up the top 18, we have the Raiders and Broncos at 16 and 17, respectively, both at 9 and 8. And then the unfortunate Texans, who, barring any stat corrections, will be the 18th pick. Again, they are less than 10 points behind the Jets for that final tiebreaker. Went back to see what I was thinking about, and actually it was the Jets who beat the Texans in the final week of a postseason, I think, in 2018. To get the Jets into the playoffs rather than the Texans. I can't recall if that was a stat correction or not, but these two teams have been involved at this time of the year before.
That's going to be the one to watch. That's going to be the most tense week for them, both probably. But yeah, that's going to be fun to see that actually happen.
So it's interesting when you look at some of the picks. Some of the early picks that are owned by other teams. Saints doesn't have their first round pick.
Who does?
Pittsburgh. So Steelers has 5 and 11.
Nice.
Panthers has like a mid run. They have their pick at 8. They have 16 and 17. Who has the Texans pick? Lions has the Texans pick. So they pick at 2 and 18. Not too bad. I pick at 1 and either 31 or 32.
Yeah,
maybe, potentially.
And I'm waiting on Washington. Wherever they end is where I got my last pick there too.
Potentially 31 or 32.
Big stacks.
I'm pulling for the
picks right now. I'm trying to see any other big stacks of picks here for future draft picks. So
the only one that has like a real amount of picks is Panthers. Giants has decent amount of picks, but doesn't have a lot. Like they have a lot of 3 playoff picks.
Right.
Yeah, Panthers went in thinking he was going to get early picks, and he ended up being the earliest one himself.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anyone who made the playoffs who still owns their pick. I think it might just be the Jets, or the Titans as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking, the Browns missed, the Steelers missed, the Colts missed, the Titans made the playoffs, have their pick. The Jets have their pick.
Falcons has their first.
Falcons has their first. And I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 of the 14 teams that made it have their first round pick. 11 others have a extra rooting interest in this, hoping that they get their second or third or fifth first round pick to go a little bit higher.
So now everybody knows the key to making the playoffs. Get rid of your first round pick.
Picks, that's right.
Yeah, I mean it's the opposite of like baseball or anything else where people actually will trade picks for ammo for the playoffs. Here, it might actually work. In real life, not so much, but here, it's fantasy.
Well, that whole strategy may change though, because 5th-year options are coming in, and that's going to mess up everything. So, getting your picks out may not be the.
So, what's going to be really funny is if it's Vikings and Chargers in the Super Bowl, because they will let you know that in order to make it to the championship, you must give up 2 years worth of picks because they are the only 2 people that did so.
I mean, we did sell our souls to get the buy this year, so it wasn't on accident that we're in that situation. But unfortunately, we're going to have to pay for it going forward. We have, and we will probably continue to pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the playoffs.
Oh no, Bill traded away all his picks, and he didn't even make the playoffs. So
yeah, but
there's 3 people.
I mean, I won pretty well.
Well, he traded his picks for other picks, so I guess it's not the same thing. But you're screwing up the ratio.
You have a really really nice pick this offseason.
I do.
So
I do.
nothing to scoff at.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
But so we're half hour in, guys, and we've covered all of our topics. We didn't used to talk about stuff this fast. I mean, did we stop for trades, or like, how come we're going so fast now?
We don't
Well,
have any trades.
Yeah, we don't have any trades. We don't have to go shopping for anybody.
Yeah.
That's true. Usually we'll go through teams a little bit slower, thinking, who can I trade for, or who helps me, or what's the arbitrage play here? But can't do that right now. I mean, you guys can. So good hunting. Enjoy that. Otherwise, I think we'll just keep this short, and we'll save some content for the later weeks here. Anything else you guys wanted to cover, Bill, RJ?
No, I'm pretty happy right now.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how the playoffs turn out. I'm excited for January 4th, so we can post our trade bait and start making some trades while the playoffs are going on.
Oh my God.
Right. No, I mean, I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm rooting for some upsets, hoping they happen. But yeah, let's get to the next 4 weeks and get on to the off season.
Definitely. All right. Good luck to all of you, especially those who have to play this week. Those who don't have to play this week, because they've earned it. Matt, good on you. Everyone else, better luck next year, and we'll talk to you guys soon.